Hey everybody, I'm the Gulf Coast Granny, and today we're going to be in the garden. I wanted to update y'all on some of the plants that I've planted on the edge. And let's start with the squash and the watermelons, okay? Those great big plants right there in the kiddie pool are my pumpkins. And the little tiny ones right there that have some yellow on them are watermelons. And the reason they are yellowed is because we had about 4 days of torrential downpours. So they got a little too much water on them. So I'm babying them along. And if you'll notice right here, the back leaves are yellow, but this new growth is real green and pretty. This one here, I'm having a hard time. That's real pretty, but then back there, it's yellow. But now the pumpkins are looking great so far. And even this one here is starting to vine a little bit. And I want it to come up and over this fence. The reason I had to put this fence up, y'all, this is crazy. So my dog, I have to keep her on a lead because we have a hole in the fence and I don't want her getting out. So her lead is over here. See, there's part of it. Well, when I first planted this kiddie pool out, I put her outside to go potty, and darned if I didn't come back about 10 minutes later, and she's sitting right in the middle of it, cooling off. So I put this fence around it to keep her out of it. Now, these are my zucchini squash, and honestly, zucchini's not loving me this season, or this whole year for that matter. Now, I do have some new growth right here that looks really, really good. So maybe it's pulling out of its funk. I don't know. This is the patty pan squash. Now, it's growing better, but I think it needs some fertilizer because it's starting to turn a little bit yellow. That's okay. I'll get some in there. Look, y'all, look. There's a little baby patty pan right there. As soon as that flower opens up, I can get that thing pollinated and we'll have a squash. Well, that's a nice surprise today, isn't it? Right here in this bed, I have planted some corn. Now, I didn't plant the purple corn that I got from Botanical Interest, the Martian Jewels corn. I ended up planting one called Blue Jade. And the reason I did that is because it's only a 60 to 70 day corn. And I just did it like 2 days ago, so there's probably nothing coming up in here. No, not yet. But now here on the ends, I've got some of that honey nut squash, which is a miniature butternut. And I got one down there on that end. And I'm just going to let it intertwine there with the corn and do 2 sisters instead of 3 sisters garden. Now, these are my Purple Passion sweet potatoes. They are doing really good. They're a little wilty right now because we're in the middle of the day and it's 190 degrees out here. All right, maybe not 190, but it sure feels bad. It's hot, y'all. It's hot. These are bean plants. They're pole beans, and they're already starting to climb up this trellis here. They are Blue Lake pole beans. So we should see how those are doing. But I want y'all to look at this. Look at this melon mess here. It's crazy. Look, during the spring, it didn't do a whole lot. But once it got hot, this thing went crazy. I've got a melon here. See, now I got one here, but it didn't get pollinated. See how yellow that is? It's rotten. But there's a baby right next. Look. But there's a baby there, and there's a baby there. I just can't believe how much this thing is growing. Looky here. See that right there? And there's another one right here. So that's really exciting. I did not expect those melons to hold out all spring and all summer and then just take off like they have. This is my little lone honey nut squash. And the vine is dying. It's got downy mildew. If you can see your leaves here. And I'm just trying to baby it along until that squash is ripe. And then I'm going to pull it out. Now, these are my Georgia Jet sweet potatoes. And let me get down on this end. They seem to be growing real good, the ones that have survived. But I didn't lose any potatoes plants out of that bed. Not one of them have I had to pull up out of about 16. But this one, I've had to pull a whole bunch of them out. And I had about the same amount to start with on this. But I will say they are starting to flower, which is a good sign that we'll be getting potatoes. But look at this weird color on here. I don't know if that's normal or not. I've never grown sweet potatoes before. But some of them have just turned this yellow here. And I've had to pull the leaves off or pull the plant out. But the ones that are growing are just going crazy. I mean, look at that vine right there coming over, and this one out here sticking out. I'm just tickled to death. I can't wait to get some sweet potatoes, y'all. Oh, and here's a great big melon here, too. Look. Look, y'all. That's crazy. But right now, those are about the only things I have growing in the garden other than my peppers. And my peppers have just been steady producing all summer. They're not putting out a lot at one time. They suffered a little bit from all of the rain we got. See the yellow on the bottom? I think I'm going to have to give them some fertilizer too and see how they do. But look, I got this pepper here. There's a little baby right there. And they just been steady producing ever since I put them in the ground in early April. Peppers do so much better here in the fall. So I'm really hoping if I can keep all of these going, in the fall we'll get a bunch of peppers. Now this little thing here, I had to transplant that from over in the determinate bed. It was getting too much shade. So I put him here, and now he's done fell over. So I think I'm going to put a stake up here and try to revive him so that he can produce this fall too. These are some of my tomatoes I'm trying to harden off, and they'll be going in that long bed right there. So that's our garden update. These dog days of summer are not fit for humans nor animals or plants. But even though there's just a little bit growing, I'm real happy with the progress for this time of year. So y'all have a great afternoon, and I'll talk to you again real soon, all right?